understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, December 30th, 2017. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have no live-action TV shows based on DC TV Comics to talk about today. Everybody took a well-earned winter nap this week.
Sorry, everybody.
But I assume all of our favorite characters drank too much nog and ate too much cheese, had like half a glass of wine too much, and called it a night.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was describing myself. I'm sorry. That's what I just did. So that's...
Yeah. How was your Christmas?
It was lovely. My sister flew in from Utah to surprise my mother, but to do it in a way that wouldn't like kill my mother from shock. So, you can't surprise and jump out at her. You have to, hey mom, look who we've, So I make my mom sound elderly. She's not, but you know what I'm saying. But no, it was great. It was great. We don't usually have my sister and her husband around at Christmas. So we got the whole family under the roof, and my mom beamed the whole time because all her chickens were home. It was lovely. How about you?
It was nice. My sister drove down with her fiance with her husband from Boston, and my mom was very happy to see them, but still nervous that my brother's in Hawaii with his fiance, and
more importantly, his dog.
Yes, his dog. He got another one too.
Oh,
yeah, he got like some kind of like Australian pointer.
Huh.
Yeah.
That sounds like a big, loud dog.
Yeah. I'm never visiting. I kid. I will get a hotel room. No. It's fun. Yeah, it was nice. Family around. Got to meet with all the extended family and argue about the Giants.
I guess better the Giants than political arguing, better than screaming matches to the death about congressional Republicans or what have you.
Yeah, something like that. But so that was fun, and I was saw some movies, and I was missing my DC TV fix.
Yeah, it has been. It's been. I mean, I have to talk to my loved ones. I have to interact with people rather than just stare at the television. It's been a nightmare, honestly, Ed.
Yeah. So let's we do have an email.
Oh, yes.
That we could talk about.
Go for it.
We got this a while ago. This is from Agent Palmer. This is this big homework assignment that I've been alluding to. And he wants us to create an elevator pitch of 2 minutes or less for each show that we cover. For anyone who's listening to the show that isn't watching all of our shows.
Sure. Because there are lots of people out there probably who, if you're watching show A, you'd probably really enjoy show B. Mm-hmm. We just need to get you there. We need to get you over the finish line.
Yeah, definitely. And, I don't know if we're going to do each and every one. Now, he wants us to say he wants us each to do our own pitch because he wants to compare and contrast and see what different stuff that we each come up with. But I think if you can think, we can run down this quick and just come up with what's the one thing that you would use as a selling point for each of the shows that we do. So how do you want to work this?
I sort of, you want to start with, let's see, is Arrow the oldest of the shows that we do?
Yes, it is.
Well, let's start with Arrow. It's the one that started the CW DC verse. It's the granddaddy.
Mhm.
I feel like Stephen Amell wouldn't appreciate being referred to as such. So, what's your elevator pitch for Arrow? What's your reason to get people to watch it?
Well, I would say it is, really. I would sell this on the fight scenes. Really gritty, good, solid action, great stunt work, and passionate storylines.
That's funny because I was gonna sell it on the emotion and then mention the fighting. I would say, hot, brooding, badass fighter with a guilty streak tries to make amends. There's a swoon-worthy ship, and also the fights are incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd focus on that sort of amends. How do I overcome my past? How do I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was funny when Iron Fist came out last year, and a lot of people were yeah, I know, me too. A lot of people were really disappointed in the fight scenes, also just compared to Daredevil, since you're thinking it's the same people making it. And I remember watching it, and then watching a couple of episodes of Arrow, and being like, wow, like this is like really intense and much better than anything you'd see on Iron Fist. So like if I was to nail it down to one sentence, it's better than Iron Fist.
Better than Iron Fist. There you go. I read an interesting analysis, which is that Danny Rand doesn't wear a mask to fight, so you can't have a stunt double. So, with Arrow, you can swap in somebody for Amell because he's usually got some kind of hood on. Not that he's not capable. We all watched that American Gladiator run that he did for the Celebrity Edition, I'm assuming. But, that poor, what's his name? Finn Jones,
yes.
Just wasn't a fighter. Although knowing that Iron Fist doesn't wear a mask, could they have, I don't know, cast somebody with fighting skills? Maybe.
I mean, he trained for 2 weeks.
What more can you ask? I mean,
they were choreographing as they were shooting. There was a lot there, and this is what I'll be honest. One of the most disappointing things about Iron Fist was that he didn't end up in a costume by the end of it.
That was your most disappointing thing about Iron Fist?
I said one of the most.
Okay. That's pretty far down on my list of disappointing things about Iron Fist.
Yeah, well, it just, kind of like I was expecting, like, how are they going to work that costume? Because it's a really out there costume. And they made an attempt with Daredevil that I think worked, and they showed a little bit in one flashback scene. But I don't know. To me, it was a cop-out. That show was a cop-out for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I know this is about DC TV, but man, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
And it killed the goodwill that I had for the Defenders also, which I feel kind of bad about, even though I thoroughly enjoyed the shows upon which the other Defender members were based.
Yeah, I think Defenders is getting a little bit of a bad rap. I don't think it was as bad as people say.
Oh, I'm not saying it was bad. I just think it had Danny in it.
This is true.
That's all.
This is true. Yeah, so that's our pitch for Arrow.
Come for the fights, stay for the ship, / come for the ship, stay for the fights.
Here we go.
Depends on what you do. Okay, you want to just go down the list? Let's see. Go to Flash came next.
Yeah.
I guess chronologically.
Yes. And
boy, the Flash is tough because I feel like the different seasons have had sort of different personalities, and that makes it a little bit harder to pin down. But in general, I would call this one bouncy superhero fun.
Yeah.
With dark streaks.
Yeah, there's a little dark streaks. The thing I always liked is the optimism of Barry Allen. And this is someone who wants to save people and believes in himself. And no matter how bad things get, he still trusts that he will be able to come through in the end. And I think, diversity and not diversity, angst, and all that. That's one thing, but to me, I just love that heart, and I think, the parts where that show has strayed is when they kind of flow away from that. But I think that's the one thing I always liked is that it's this optimistic, fun show, and it is fun. When
it's fun, it's very fun. When it's not, it's very Savitar. Also, the alternative pitch I would do. Jesse L. Martin, Tom Cavanaugh, and occasionally Victor Garber are surrounded by child idiots. That might appeal to a certain demographic as well.
Yeah. I mean, you could almost say like Jesse L. Martin's character from Law and Order just moved to Central City, and all this insanity happened.
That's right. He adopted a couple of kids / had a couple of kids.
Yeah.
And here's where he ended up.
Yeah. Because I could believe it's the same guy.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and he just now he's just wondering what the hell Jerry Orbach would have done in that situation.
I always wonder that. That's actually
Mhm.
my number one. Like, what would Jerry Orbach order off this menu?
Yes,
That's
rest in peace.
what I'm-
Rest in peace.
May he rest.
All right.
Let's see. Next comes Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, actually, I think Supergirl came before.
Supergirl next.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
They were both the same season, but I think Supergirl was fall and Legends was a mid-season replacement.
Good call. Good memory.
Yeah.
It seems so early it seems so easy to say girl power. And I think a lot of what you said about Flash applies to Supergirl as well, that optimism and doing right for right's sake and believing in the best in people and talk rather than punch. That's such an easy description, but there you have it.
Yeah, I think it does apply. I would also tack on like the fun thing is, there is kind of a balance where with Arrow you get your hard street fighting scenes. With Flash you get your out there, superpowers, and with Supergirl it dwells in the I like the fact that aliens are a big part of that show. And it's an interesting take to see how aliens can mix in with society, and kind of how we react to them being here. And after a while, it's not as strange as you might think.
This is true. And it does flights. It does flying sequences. And I think it does it really well for a TV budget and for a CW budget. I think the flying effects are nicely done. They're a lot of fun. And there is, it is a show that I think gets into the social allegory more than the others. And I think it's why it is a show that's a little more controversial or a little more polarizing, especially online. But I guess in the end, my elevator pitch for Supergirl would be girl, honey child, sister friend. It's Supergirl. It's the only female-led show in DC TV's CW verse superhero edition. I'm not forgetting about iZombie, of course, but it's Supergirl. Girl, what else do you need to know? That's my pitch.
Yeah. And all right, Gotham.
Oh, do you want to do Legends first?
Okay, yeah. We'll run out the CW.
I'm just going CW. I'm just going one turn.
Run out the CW. So, Legends of Tomorrow. I think this show is bonkers.
Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes. Yeah. This show is it doesn't care how goofy it gets. It is just going to show, another one. It's pure unadulterated fun, but this one, it's like, hey, we're on a time machine. Everyone has superpowers. We're gonna go crazy. We don't care about logic or making sense. It's all about where the story leads us. And we go to some really crazy fun places here. And
we do it in costumes. Period. Yes. Costumes. Period hairstyles. And Sarah Lance just sort of like bangs her way through the history books. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. All right. For Gotham, this is another one that's, for a while I thought this show didn't know what it was. But I think the main thing with Gotham is that this is another one that goes to really wacky and crazy places, and it really toes that line between a serious crime drama and just pure camp.
Yes. Campy fun plus winky comic and movie references plus sort of era defying costume and set design. plus
Mhm.
super dark spurts of violence. So it is kind of a mishmash of different things. And it is definitely not one thing. None of these shows are, of course, but the over the topness would be, I think, hard to take if you didn't have those periodic, did they just kill that dude in that way? Yikes. And so you do, it's zany, leavened with some seriousness, leavened with Jim Gordon's dour face. So.
Yeah. And this is like, it's Batman villains.
Mhm.
If you want to see Batman villains in their elements before Batman, you know, I think Penguin alone is something that you could sell this show on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Robin Lord Taylor, I think, does an amazing job. As well as Edward Nygma and the Riddler and those storylines.
And Babs, Barbara Gordon Barbara becomes a lot of. See, I'm trying to. I'm stammering over my words because I just realized we're elevator pitching to people who haven't maybe seen it and would want to check it out. So I don't want to spoil anything. But Barbara has an interesting journey.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
too.
I mean, if you want a multi-tiered, multi-leveled storyline that actually balances it out, Walking Dead eat your heart out.
Yeah.
Like if you want to see someone try, you know, actually execute what Walking Dead tries to do with all of its multiple interloping storylines, I think Gotham is the place to be.
Oh, that's an interesting challenge. Which show does the best? But you know what? You're right. Gotham is one, and we've talked about this over and over, where you might not see character X at all in a given week, and I won't even notice until you and I sit down to talk about it that, you know, for the podcast that week. Oh yeah, we didn't see Bruce, or we didn't see so and so, and I think with The Walking Dead, people notice and get angry, and I think it's because they have that has a lot of other issues as well. So
yeah, but Walking Dead, they'll do one storyline for a whole episode and then not get back to it for 4 or 5 weeks. Whereas Gotham, they have about 4 or 5 storylines going, and they'll hit at least 3 in each episode.
And they pace it much better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not relentlessly grim and awful. Like, again, The Walking Dead this is not a Walking Dead podcast.
No. All right. What else we got in here?
Let's see. iZombie.
iZombie. Oh, if you want something with the charm of Veronica Mars, and just that, you know, touch of horror element into it, that this is your show.
And if you like to see a capable actor get to stretch and play in really fun ways every single week, this is the show for you. Because Rose McIver, star of Netflix The Christmas Prince, every week eats a brain and takes on that persona. And so you have the attitude, attributes, speech patterns, dress, costume, hair, the whole thing is such fun to watch her work her way through every week. So but the Veronica Mars charm is very strong. You are correct.
Yeah. Also, one other thing I like about this is, again, going to narrative, how this started really, really small. And it's taken 3 seasons to get into something that is like a nationwide catastrophe. And they really took their time and let it build. And I think it, you know, they did it in a way that makes sense. And it feels like they've earned the place where they are in that show right now.
This is a show that has some amazing season finales that leave you thinking, oh my God, where are they going to go from here next season? And they have not let us down yet. Every season when they come back with whatever has changed that world in the finale, they embrace, they run with, and I have never been disappointed by this show. Other than that Major could be shirtless more. I mean, that's the only disappointment I might have. You're welcome.
Okay.
Let's see what else. We got Lucifer, we got Preacher, and I think those are the only ones that have aired that we have seen, I think.
Yes.
Lucifer is an easy elevator pitch.
Yeah, it's Tom Ellis.
Tom freaking Ellis.
Yeah, it's Tom Ellis and Tom Ellis and Tom Ellis.
The devil is sexy, pissed at his dad, and solving crimes in LA. Yes. And he's Tom Ellis. I mean,
yeah, you poke your head in for the procedural, and then you stay for Tom Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like me, you heard, oh my God, another crime procedural, but it's the devil, and you just immediately took a hard pass. That's what happened to me. And then you start listening to people like, I'm going to assume, Ed, were you in on this on the ground floor?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you start listening to people like Ed who say, no, seriously, guys, this is really good. Don't let the crime, it's not CSI Devil. You know, don't let that turn you off. The crime is sort of secondary to the characters and the evolution and the mythology and the ridiculous over the top charm of Tom Ellis.
Yeah. It's about the devil living on Earth. And, you know, they just need to throw in a murder mystery every episode just so they can keep it on Fox.
Because this is television in 2017 as we stare down the barrel of 2018.
Yeah, because this is network primetime TV. So unless it's about unless there's cops or it's set in a hospital, we don't really know where to put it.
Or zombies.
Yeah. And
I guess not, zombies on network TV.
Yeah,
I
not
guess
network.
not.
I'm talking like the big four. But all right, and Preacher.
Boy, this one's tough. I would say if you like stylized violence and very dark humor, and a show that rewards, I think, some close attention to details because it buries clever callbacks and Easter eggs and things, this is the show for you.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough.
It is. It is really tough. And there's a vampire in this. I mean, that's the real reason I watched that show.
What? What's for the vampire?
Yes.
I will say this show has some of the most cleverly staged fights because of, I don't know if it's budgetary issues or what. They stage fights in such a way that they don't have to choreograph and go all out, but they do it in a way that's so fun and audacious and over the top and unexpected. It's really well done. I really am impressed with the production and I thought that sounds like such a boring way to, hey, the production values are great, but genuinely it isn't just your average go in and mow everybody down with guns. I mean, it really is a different take on the fight and the battle, and it again, kind of like with Lucifer, it has theological issues and it has good and evil and heaven and hell and very, very cool stuff. Yeah. If you are a comic reader, you've already watched it, obviously, but you might want to proceed with caution if you haven't checked it out yet, because it is a little different.
Yes. Yeah. And this was again one of our sister shows, Preacher versus Preacher, which is all about comparing the comics to the series. And if you've listened to that show, a lot of it is Bob's Lament.
It should just be called Bob's Lament. The worst is when he's not angry anymore. He's just like broken. He's just like, I don't understand. They had it all there on the page and they just didn't. So I think if you're a comic person who has held off checking it out, go into it knowing that in spirit it's sort of similar, but don't expect faithfulness. And I think if you temper your expectations, you'll enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy it very much for what it is.
Oh yeah, and there are elements to this. I mean, if you skip the first season, would it line up with the comics better?
Probably. Yeah. I think if you skip the first season, oh gosh. Yeah, there's more of it. But even then they go so off the rails for the comic. And frankly, I like the first season. I can only say that because I'm not on Preacher vs. Preacher and it won't get shouted out of the room. I really liked it for what it was. Yeah. And that was, a crime story that really did tie things together in a way that the faithful, attentive viewer is richly rewarded, I think, with not just the fights and the cinematography and the performances, but with, oh, that has been, yes, this, I see how we got from this point to this point to this point. So I really liked season 1, but it was not at all what comic readers were hoping for.
No. And it's funny, like the quirky elements were what really, like in the first season, I love Fiore LeBlanc.
Oh, so much.
I just, that whole setup of those guys I thought was great. And when you throw Cassidy in that mix, to me, the reason I'm watching the show is for Cassidy. That one episode they had, was it Fiore who was the magician who like got a, that one scene where just Cassidy has to do something to get information out of this guy, and they're just alone in a hotel room and they have nothing but money and time, and just the crazy stuff that he does. It's not like what that show is meant to be, but like those little quirky moments are just so much fun. And that's, why I keep watching, because I'm waiting for that little kernel to kind of like seep in. And I'm sure those are going to get less and less as the show gets more serious. But, I'll be waiting for them.
I'll still be watching. And it's got season 3, so that's exciting.
Yep.
All right. Is that all of them?
So that's all the shows that are coming. That's all the shows that are have already been out. We do have 3 shows. We have 3 shows that we know are coming that are shooting. And then there's like a pilot for one, and then like 2 other that are in development that we may never see.
Yeah, Black Lightning is almost here. Krypton is almost here. March will be here. Titans is shooting. Watchmen is getting a pilot. V for Vendetta, I think, is just a rumor and like a whisper on the smoke. And Project 13, shruggy emoji man, I have no idea.
Yeah. Which it'll be fun if it happens.
So I don't know if have we convinced you to watch a show that you have not checked out yet? That would be fabulous. Do you feel like we mischaracterized one of your favorite shows, and would you like to offer your own elevator pitch? You should find us on Twitter and tell us.
Yeah, find us on Twitter at DCTV Report, or shoot us an email, dctv@wickedtheory.com.
But yeah, let us know how you would pitch one of those shows. Maybe something appeals to you about them that we just completely blew by. And there are a lot of aspects of those that we really didn't talk about. So yeah, let us know what it is about this that you would use to sell it to someone who says, hey, what should I watch next?
All right. So that was fun.
Thank you, Palmer, for that assignment.
Yeah, and it's the end of the year. We're just kind of slipping this in. We got to lose for next week, so we are going to have something to talk about. But let's just do a quick news roundup and see where that leads us.
Well, as I mentioned, I think everybody was sort of full of cheese and half dozing on the couch this week. So we don't have a ton of news, but there is a little bit. And one of the big news drops were the episode descriptions for the mid-season premieres for the CW shows that are coming back in 2-ish weeks. So first, we have Supergirl, which is back on January 15th. And we will see the debut of a new character. And that character is Brainiac.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. I thought for a second you said Brainiac was going to be on Supergirl. Is that true?
Well, now you're making me question it, but yeah, Brainiac.
Wow. Have they cast it?
Oh yeah. We reported on this. Let's see. Is it Thomas Raff? I believe is his name.
Okay. All right. Wow. I mean it's
I'm
insane.
sorry, Jesse Raff. I'm sorry, Jesse Raff.
Jesse Raff. I'm sorry. I'm eagerly anticipating.
Have I rendered you speechless?
Yeah, no, basically every super movie that's come out for like every Superman movie for the last 30 years, Brainiac was the original intended villain, and they somehow, either didn't make the movie or had to work him out of it. So
oh, do you feel like there's a chance that it's going to come back on January 15th and they're going to be like, and now we have Mr. Mixel Pixel again?
Just remember,
Surprise.
Superman 3 with Richard Pryor, that was originally supposed to be Brainiac.
Okay.
That supercomputer that he's fighting. that ends up turning, Robert Vaughn's sister into a horrible robot woman that was really, really scary for 5-year-old Ed.
Scarred me for life.
Yes.
Scarred me for life. Maybe still the scariest movie scene I've ever seen, when that computer consumed that woman and spit her back out. Nightmare. I'm glad we share this.
Yes.
Now, help me out here. Brainiac was in Smallville, right? That was James Marsters? Was that Brainiac? Now, help me out. Was Brainiac in Smallville? James Marsters played a professor.
You know what? I'm sure he was, and he came on after I stopped watching the show.
That was around the time that I was stopping, but yes, the Google machine tells me that James Marsters did play Brainiac in Smallville season, 5.
Oh, okay. I think I checked out after 4.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
anyway, Brainiac coming to Supergirl. She is recovering from injuries sustained in the fight with Rain, and Cal. What's his name? Oh my gosh, the married fella.
Mon-El.
Wow, I really was going for Kal-El.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second.
What?
Is this Brainiac or Brainiac 5?
Oh, Brainiac 5.
Oh, okay. Because there is a huge difference.
Do we need to redo this whole thing? Because I didn't know that made a big difference.
There's an enormous difference. Brainiac is like Superman's major villain, who's who's this super intelligent alien that goes around collecting worlds and absorbing them into his knowledge base and then destroying them. Brainiac 5 is one of his descendants who's super intelligent and is a good guy and the brains of the legions of superheroes.
Oh, so there's a difference then, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So apparently it's Brainiac 5. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm not yelling at you.
No, I feel bad because it's in all the stories as I'm scrolling through them. I just didn't know that the 5 mattered quite that much. Sorry.
Yes. Yes,
Brainiac 5, whose casting we reported on earlier.
I was going to say, I remember the casting of Brainiac 5. I didn't remember Brainiac.
I missed Brainiac 1 through 4, so I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Brainiac 5 is from the 31st century.
So it makes it. Mon-El gets him off the ship to help rehabilitate or wake up Kara. Basically, is what's going to happen with Brainiac 5.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if he's going to have green skin and blonde hair like he does in the comics. I hope he does. A lot of green skin people might be on DC TV this season.
Funny, because I'm pretty sure this actor Jesse Rath was in that sci-fi show, and he had blue skin. It was the one that had the video game tie-in, and I watched a couple of episodes.
I don't know. Dark Matter? I don't know. I just remember it's not the
Defiance. I'm pretty sure he was blue in that. So if he's green in this, I guess he's really going through all the colors of the rainbow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, equally exciting, but for very
not blue,
reasons.
White skin. He was very, very pale white skin, but almost a blue white. So anyway, okay, so let's move past this epically confusing news item.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. What's a little numbering between friends? I mean, shall we move on to the Flash?
Sure.
This is where I want to mangle every name now that I do for the rest of the news segments, just to yeah. So when the Flash returns on January 16th, Barry's trial will be underway. That's it. That's the synopsis that I have for the Flash. Because I know generally the U.S. legal system moves swiftly, and if you're accused of murder, it takes a week, 2 weeks top to mount your defense and get that trial underway. So this feels appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, every other TV show that's not set in a courtroom every week, that's pretty much how it works.
Even the ones that are set in a courtroom every week.
Yeah.
Sort of how it works. But yeah, we will see the trial of Barry Allen, and I guess his friends and family have to decide how far will they go. to help Barry escape a conviction. So that's going to happen. Is it Barry 5? Let's see. Nothing new for Legends. Nothing new for Gotham. Arrow is another of the synopses that were released. It's returning on January 18th. And this one's kind of interesting. Oliver is going to team up with an unlikely ally to fight Caden James and Black Siren.
So not Slade Wilson.
Yeah, presumably not Slade Wilson. Although I don't know that Slade even would be an unlikely ally at this point. He'd be pretty likely, other than that, they don't have legal rights to use him. But yeah, that'll be kind of interesting. Will they pull somebody from the Wayback Machine? Will Ragman show up? Will
I don't know, Deadshot? We could. I mean, Malcolm Merlyn hasn't shown up yet this year, has he?
Well, he's dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's dead. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we hear he walks into a clearing and into a pack of trees, and we hear an explosion off screen. Oh yeah, he's toast.
I'm sorry, John Barrowman said he was dead. If I can't believe a Hollywood actor, then who can I believe?
yeah, and Torchwood was only going to be 2 seasons.
Well, we don't acknowledge any seasons past 2. So,
I don't know. I kind of like the 3rd one.
Was that Miracle Day?
No, that was the 4th one. No, that was no. It was the one with the aliens and take the kids away.
Children of Earth.
Yes, Children of Earth.
To this day, I sometimes want to stop and chant, "We want a pony, we want a pony," because it was creepy. So anyway, yeah, I wondered maybe could it be Evelyn? Did she die on the island? Did somebody save her? Is she gonna flip sides again? So I'm hoping they don't whiff that, whatever unlikely ally it is. I hope it's good and not the vigilante reveal where everybody says, "Who? Him?" Let's see. Another little bit of news. Mark Guggenheim says, yeah, they've been dropping the names of, people in the Justice League and other superheroes. Don't expect any actual appearances from Justice League members. They're good for occasional mentioned Easter eggs, but that's about as far as it's going to go. So he's poking a pin in the balloon of our hopes there. I know.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then I feel bad that they even mentioned it.
Yeah, it does. Anytime you have to go in and say, "Oh no, this isn't going to happen." Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't get Bruce Wayne, can we get Barbara Gordon? Can we get Tim Drake? Like the number 3 Robin.
In the universe of Robins, you're pretty low, Tim. So maybe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was Robin when I was growing up. That was Robin I always liked, and then Damian Wayne had to come in and say mine. So now he's not Robin anymore. He's Red Robin.
Okay, but who's Robin 5?
Ooh.
Okay.
Black Lightning.
Moving on. Black Lightning premieres the same night as Arrow. Or I'm sorry, not Arrow, but Flash, January 16th. And we do have a full synopsis of the premiere. So no spoilers, just a full idea of what the show is going to be about. So Jefferson Pierce is a man wrestling with a secret. As the father of Anissa and Jennifer and principal of a charter high school that also serves as a safe haven for young people in a neighborhood overrun by gang violence, he is a hero in his community. 9 years ago, Pierce was a hero of a different sort. Gifted with the superhuman power to harness and control electricity, he used those powers to keep his hometown streets safe as the masked vigilante Black Lightning. But he left the superhero days behind him. Almost a decade later, Pierce's crime-fighting days are long behind him, or so he thought. Dun, dun, dun.
Now, does the fact that it's a charter school change anything?
I have some thoughts about charter schools. They can be very important in communities, but they can also be ripe for corruption and abuses and wastefulness and poor education. I'm assuming it's going to be the former and not the latter. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. Charter high school does make it feel 2017 because that is a thing. I don't know. And maybe it's different where you live compared to where I live, but
Well, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are teachers. My brother-in-law worked in a charter school for a year
Mhm.
and had a very rough go of it.
I mean, it kind of depends on. I mean, charter schools do what the charter says, and charters can be drawn up to be rigorous and important and helpful, or they can be drawn up to teach you about, I don't know, aliens and dinosaurs. Like your charter can be whatever. So I always proceed a little bit cautiously, but we have a great charter school system in my community that seems to work really well and serve an important need. So I hate to. I am curious about that too. That's honestly the part of the synopsis I'm most interested in. Charter school, you say? Go on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also weird because, like, you know, when you think like inner city school, you know, that this isn't you know, like a regular public school, it's a charter school. So I'm almost wondering, like, you know, did he have anything to do with the formation of that charter school? Like, does he own the place, or is he just the principal?
Boy, I hope this show spends so much time on the charter school thing and very little time on the crime fighting thing. That's what America wants. That's what the public is clamoring for. School politics.
Well, but I think I know it's such a little thing. It's one word, but to me, it also kind of establishes the kind of political dynamics that we're going to see on this show that are going to be a little different. It might not be just straight up superhero stories, or it's gonna talk about them.
And imagine if this show actually does get us talking about education policy and education funding and education standards and things. It's kind of incredible. So, well, we made that not fun. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Some quick shots about Krypton. We have a premiere date for that, March 21st. And the showrunners have said explicitly it is not part of the DC Extended Universe. So it's not matching up the timelines with the movies or anything like that. There was some confusion, I think, because the way Krypton looks, it's styled to look in the TV show, is a little similar to the way Krypton looks in the movie.
Oh, no. Let's stop right there. It is a lot similar. Like, it looks almost exactly like it's okay. This is just this is the same Krypton.
And so that's what a lot of people said was, oh, okay, well, if it looks the same, I wonder if it's, and so they've said, no, that's not the case at all. The comicbook.com article talking about it said, frankly, it's just because both were influenced by the John Byrne and Mike Mignola World of Krypton. And that's all it is. I don't know. Would you buy that?
Yeah, I buy that, sort of. I mean, the Kryptonian costumes, I mean, the setup for World of Krypton is right. Aesthetically, I don't know if that's really if that's really the same. I got to read World of Krypton again. But either way, I blame David S. Goyer.
Totally.
he just cannot stand to have anything connect.
I thought you were going to tell me you can't stand to have anything with color.
Yeah, I think he's the real reason that the DC, like that there's no cohesion in any of the DC Entertainment properties. Because he wanted to do his own thing. I don't know if there was a while back where he was on a Nerdist Writers panel and was talking about how Martian Manhunter is a silly character that you can never really pull off on screen. And then 6 months later, we got him in Supergirl, and I said,
"Suck it,
F you." Yes.
See, it also, there are a couple more still images that have been released of Krypton, and it's all pretty dark colors, dark lighting, dark. It's what you'd expect from more of the DC cinematic universe take on things. Yeah. So grimdark, more grimdark, always grimdark.
Yeah. And it's David Goyer's executive producer, and he's the guy who's responsible for Man of Steel, and he co-wrote the Dark Knight trilogy. So I can understand why a lot of that aesthetic is staying there. Granted, he also executive produced Constantine, for which that vibe worked really well, and I think it's gonna work really well for this show. But if you're wondering why the lights aren't turned on, that might be part of it.
It's Goyer.
But now I don't want anyone to think I'm negative on this show. I am really excited to see it. Especially from what we've gleaned from what we're seeing. I think it's gonna be really cool.
somewhere Uncle Jay wants to yell at you and he doesn't know why.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to check it out too. I hope it is. I hope it's not just dark. I hope it has. I don't know. I hope it's not like the DC movies. Honestly, that's
no. I hope it's like a Sci-Fi Channel show.
That's great because there are many good shows on Sci-Fi that probably people who are listening are not watching and should be, and there are many good shows that I'm not watching. So. Yeah. Let's see. Titans. Still not sure how it's going to stream. Still not sure when or where it's going to stream. But Brenton Thwaites, who is Robin, posted an Instagram image of him in costume and captioned it something like "getting ready to fight in a Gotham City alley." So that tells us that at least for that one scene, the Titans are going to be in Gotham. Presumably not full time, because otherwise they'd have Batman. Unless they'd be like, oh, Batman, he just stepped out. He just ran to the store. But I mean, we don't even really know where it's going to be set yet. So that was the first clue I think anybody really had about a location. So Gotham, at least for a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Now, in that picture, Brenton Thwaites, he's wearing a winter coat, and it's one of those like frilly winter coats with that like fur thing on the hood.
Honestly, it looked like Captain Cold.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, to me, like, if you're the Boy Wonder, I don't think you get a coat when you go outside. I think you got to rough it out.
This is true. Well, you probably, if you're the Boy Wonder, you probably have engineered some kind of self-warming mechanism in your suit.
Oh yeah. Like whatever the technology they have in seat warmers and those fancy cars, that's running all over his chest and shoulders.
That's the dream, isn't it? Just in everyday life. I mean, Ed and I are both in extremely cold places right now.
Yes.
We're very far apart, but both of our homes are extremely cold this week. Yes. So heat that runs all over your body under your clothing when you step outside. Aces.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm expecting too much that, my superheroes shouldn't need to, have any kind of warm covering when they're not actually shooting. But I don't know, just call me crazy. Just saying.
Crazy. Then again, if your superheroes get frostbite, it throws off your balance if you lose a toe or two.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
It's going to be hard to parkour off of things if you're down a pinky toe because it just throws you off just that little bit.
Yep. Now, but yeah, this is cool. So we're gonna have some. I think this is kind of thing like maybe it's in the pilot, or maybe there's just one scene in Gotham. But I don't know. But this is cool. This is cool. Little tidbits.
It's so interesting that we get a lot of tidbits about Titans these days, and we still, like I said, don't have a date or a streaming service to attach it to. So, I mean, they're committed to the show. I just really wish they'd tell us how we'll be able to see it.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like they say, and they say 2018, but I feel like you need to at least announce the name of your platform, like now.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you do need to start, I think, getting brand awareness and signups and promos, and I think that's important. But what do I know? I'm not a media mogul yet. Maybe someday, but not right now.
Yeah. So is that it for the news?
One tiny little thing, and that is about Preacher, which, much to my amusement, Den of Geek rated the best comedies available on Hulu right now and named Preacher as one of the best comedies. And it's funny to me to think of Preacher as a comedy because in a lot of ways it's really not, but in a lot of ways it really is. And I kind of think it's cool the Den of Geek didn't just stick with half-hour sitcom types. They really expanded their definition of what is a comedy. But so there you go. If you want to laugh, Preacher.
I mean, it is a dark comedy. I mean,
yes.
It is.
And they acknowledge that in the write-up. They're like, okay, listen, there's no laugh track. Don't watch this with your mom unless your mom is way cooler than my mom. But no offense, Mom. I love you. But no, I'm not going to watch Preacher with you.
I mean, it's a comedy in the sense that seeing brutal violence brings intense joy to me. I mean, it's funny. There are a lot of runs of movies in the 90s that are considered dark comedies that on the surface, you wouldn't think. Like Pulp Fiction is pretty much a dark comedy.
I mean, Heathers. I'm not even sure if Heathers is that 80s or 90s, but
yeah,
there's some.
Yeah, I mean, like
it's like that. It's in that vein.
Yeah, I mean, like when I think dark comedy, I think like Ed and His Dead Mother.
Yeah.
Fight Club. Fight Club is a dark comedy.
Real dark. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like insanely dark. Like the world is ending and people are doing nothing but beating the crap out of each other, but it's hysterical.
So basically, if you like that kind of movie, you know who you are, and probably Preacher something you'll enjoy too.
Yes.
And here endeth the news.
The news.
Other than it recently was released information that Margaret Thatcher, when she was prime minister, refused to take the panda with her on her plane when she flew into the US. They said, hey, could we send the panda? It's going to the zoo. And she said, no, I don't want that panda on my flight. And that explains why Alan Moore based V for Vendetta on her policies. That's all. Margaret Thatcher hates pandas. I understand why she, inspired V for Vendetta. Which maybe is going to be a BBC show someday, probably not. But Margaret Thatcher Panda. That's all.
Okay. All right. All right. Picked up that little tidbit somewhere.
Oh, it's amazing what you learn on Twitter. That's all I have for news.
All right. So there were no episodes, so we don't have a winner for this week.
No.
No. I gotta check out that Ray animated series on CWC.
I think didn't we say this last week? But still same. Me too.
yeah. Sorry, I saw a bunch of movies this week. I got caught up in American Vandal. I'm working on it. I think I'm gonna watch Mindhunter next.
Oh, that's so funny. I just paused episode 5 of Mindhunter to come and record this with you right now. So we are on the same brainwave. It's good. I'm liking it.
Good. Also, you want to Krypton's going to be on Sci-Fi. If you want a sci-fi show to check out Channel Zero. Have you heard of the show?
I've seen it. It's one that just completely passed me by. I don't say that about many shows. So you recommend?
Yes. It's an anthology show where each season, they're just 6 episodes and they each tell one story and the seasons are completely unrelated.
So is it American Black Mirror? No. Is it the whole season is one?
Yes, the whole season's one story.
So it's kind of American Horror Story, but on Sci-Fi.
Yes. Yeah. But the thing it's really, really creepy, weird stories. But the main reason to watch it is it's all practical effects.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And I cannot see a whiff of CG, and on the Sci-Fi Channel, that is saying something.
Because usually you can see that CG loud and clear.
Yeah, it's executive
and from a mile away.
Yeah, it's executive produced by Max Landis.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Max Landis. Actually, that's the first thing you've said that makes me say.
Okay. Oh, well, I don't know. I love Dirk Gently as well. And what he's done with that show. But anyway, if you want something, weird, creepy, and full of practical effects, I mean, there's a human teeth monster, that is incredibly scary. The way they play around with it, I think is just really inventive and innovative. And to me, art thrives on restrictions. It's a quote from Nicholas Meyer, who's a big director who I used to put that quote on my signature in emails. But the basic idea is if you take one thing away, it makes you need to think really creatively how to get around it. And the fact that they said on this show, okay, we're not going to do any computer effects. And they still make it really entertaining and scary. I find quite a feat.
I mean, it's why American Werewolf in London, I think, is still terrifying and amazing today, is because it's so practical and so hands-on. And speaking of Max Landis, have you seen Bright yet on Netflix?
No, I have not. He wrote that?
Yeah, he did the screenplay.
Oh, okay.
We watched it. it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I mean, it really got a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I read a lot of urban fantasy. My husband Jason reads a lot of urban fantasy, and that's what this was, is elves and orcs and fairies and humans all coexisting sort of uneasily. It wasn't good, and it wasn't, I mean, like, the racial commentary was not subtle or terribly well done, but there were interesting ideas buried in it. I don't know. You mentioned Max Landis. I didn't know if that was going to be up your alley. Also, Black Mirror, the new season drops this week. And did you see that one of the installments is a Star Trek spoof?
I did see that, yes.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I have not.
All right, maybe next week.
Okay.
Maybe
all right.
Next week.
Yeah, so this is Ed and Sarah just spouting about TV shows.
We're just going to talk to you about TV shows we haven't seen. We're just going to...
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a short episode this week, because we can keep it under a half an hour. Lies.
Lies. All lies.
Lies.
But I think we can end it now.
Before we start, okay, so let's go alphabetically. A, have you seen this TV show?
Yeah. But thank you, everybody. I feel like we need to cut it off now, because if we don't stop now, this show is gonna be 2 hours long.
Accurate.
And we're at about 55 minutes.
Well, and this is our last show that's going to drop in 2017. So, gosh, thanks everybody for a good first calendar year.
Yes, thank you. I am very thankful and very happy for this. I could not ask for a better co-host.
Aw,
and I am really excited to see where this goes. I think we have a bright future for this podcast, and please get the word out. We want to have fun, support Wicked Theory. Wicked Theory. Bill Sweeney, our executive producer, who really pointed me and Sarah in the direction of each other and kind of let us go.
He was kind of a podcast matchmaker.
Yes.
You two kids, you should meet.
Yes. But he posts every episode. He does a lot of the administrative work, and basically so I don't have to worry about it. And he's a saint for that. He's the one who got us onto, made sure that the show is on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and all those other
where
places.
Incidentally you can find us, rate us, and review us.
Yes. And so big shout out to him. I'm going to be on. Yes. All right. So let me just run this down, because I'm probably going to end up repeating myself. But that's the DCTV report for this week. You could find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
I'm at Sarah Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice. And check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam!
Shazam!